Well, good morning, Coach
Morning.
Barnes. We welcome you to this press conference and congratulations on a tremendous hard-fought semifinal victory last night. Congratulations on advancing to the NCAA championship game. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we have a lot of people who want to ask you some questions in this 25-minute session. So we're going to start with Doug Feinberg from the Associated Press, and then following Doug will be Michelle Smith of the Pac12.com. Doug?
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Still playing.
I'm happy to still be here. We've been on the road for a while, but I can't complain. Definitely very happy.
So you've been associated with this conference for years, having played in it, now obviously coaching it for many years at Washington, Arizona. Since Stanford last made a title game in 2010, the Pac-12 became the Pac-12. And there's been 6 different teams reaching the Final Four, and now we have a Pac-12 championship. Someone will cut down the nets tomorrow night with a Pac-12 jersey on. What does it mean to see the Pac-12 get where it is now, having a champion tomorrow night, whether it's you guys or Stanford?
It means a lot because in the Pac-12, we've been saying all along, we have the best conference in the country. We have tremendous amount of success in the tournament every year. And so to have 2 Pac-12 teams, I think it speaks for itself. And it's funny because Stanford won the Pac-12 championship and we were second. So you have both of us in the Final Four, in the championship game. It means a lot for our conference. And I think that having to play in the Pac-12 and playing so many games, playing against such good competition and such good coaching, it really helps us all in the tournament. And that's why I think you have success across the board from Pac-12 teams.
Thank you, Doug. We will now go to Michelle Smith. Michelle?
Good morning, Coach. Michelle Smith, Pac12.com. Can you share a little bit about your relationship with Tara, the degree to which she's been a trusted mentor for you over the past few years since you took over the program at Arizona?
Yeah, so I have so much respect for Tara, and it started when I was a student athlete at Arizona. We always played against Stanford. In my career at Arizona, as a player, we beat Stanford one time, and it was like a buzzer beater from 80 feet. So, Tara just has such a good program, and she's such a great coach, one of the best in the business. So I have so much respect for her and what she's done. It's one thing to be successful one year or just go to the top once or twice in your career, but to have sustained success, that's really meaningful. And I aspire to do that one day. So hopefully I'm here many more times. But she is someone that I ask questions to. She is someone in the conference that is always going to be honest, and it's never honesty to benefit Stanford. So I could ask her a question about scheduling or just her opinion on something, and it's always going to be honest, whether it would help Stanford or hurt Stanford, but just honest about Arizona. And I think it's very rare to have someone who supports you, wants you to do well, but then competes against you. And it's, she's very secure, and she should be, and just wants to help women develop and wants to grow the game, is an advocate for the Pac-12, advocate for just women's basketball. And so I just have the most respect for her.
Thank you, Michelle. Our next question will come from Lindsay Schnell of USA Today, and she'll be followed by Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. Lindsay?
Hey, Adia, good morning. Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. I wondered, this is really going to benefit you guys on the recruiting trail, regardless of what happens tomorrow night. And how do you think this can help women's basketball in general? Because more kids will see they don't have to go to UConn to win a title. How big will that be for women's basketball?
Well, I think that it's huge. I think having parity in women's basketball is very important. I think for a long time, there wasn't you knew who'd be in the Final Four, you knew who would win a championship, and that's how good those programs are. I think now you're seeing there's different trends. People are, now obviously the class for UConn, the class for South Carolina, the class for Stanford's just amazing. They're going to be good and be back here next year, I'm sure. But I think that you can go to another school, you can put your stamp, you can maybe get another good player to go. You get a couple good players, anything can happen. And I think that's true evidence for us at Arizona. So you want to see different people in the Final Four. You want to see different people winning championships because that says a lot for women's basketball. You don't want to see the same old people every year. And so it's going to definitely help us with recruiting, I think, in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. And I think that that's what it's all about because you have to recruit good players to win. A coach can run a set with a certain team that's not good players, but you can run it with good players and you look like a better coach. But it does all boil down to the players. Yes, you have to put them in the right spots to be successful, but you need to recruit. And I think just exposure, visibility, and for the country to know that you need to respect Arizona, for the country to know we're not just a men's basketball program. Now we're, respected women's basketball program. And, that's happened just recently. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Thank you, Lindsay. Our next question will come from Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Kareem.
Good morning. Congratulations. Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. I was just curious how, you're facing them obviously now for the third time. Both programs know each other so intimately. How do you talk to the team and how is preparation a little bit different, maybe previous rounds where it's teams that you don't know as well? Because clearly you guys know there's not going to be any surprises between y'all. So I'm just curious, how do you approach that? What do you talk to the team about in preparation for this one?
Yeah, so there's pros and cons. I think the pro is definitely the familiarity with Stanford, and we've already played them for the third time, like you said, and we've played them in 2, I think, big Monday games. So, that is a sense that we know what to prepare for, and they know what to prepare for. So I think, the tough part is we do have to play them again, and we do know each other, so that can be a challenge. I think sometimes it's easier when you don't know the team because you just got to go and just play. But I think, what's on our side is it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. And the difference with us is that we're a lot better, but so is Stanford, I do have to say. But just speaking about us, we are shooting the ball better. We are defending better. We are playing better basketball than we were when we played them. So I think that's an advantage, and I think it's one thing it's hard to prepare for. It's hard to prepare for momentum and just a team getting hot. And I think we're pretty hot right now. I don't think we played our best basketball game by any means yesterday, but I think we were solid. And I think that we're a better team, so a better team now than we were a month ago. So I like our chances. Stanford's a really good team. They're coached really well. We know we're going to face things we probably haven't seen. But like at this time of year, everything's difficult. There's no easy game. Everybody's really good. That's why they're here. So we're excited. And for me to be a coach in the Pac-12, and for me to constantly see the Pac-12 have no respect, have zero respect, and that shows with Aerie being second-team All-American. It shows with Aerie not being Defensive Player of the Year. It's continuously, and it's always happening in the Pac-12. And so now I'm hoping that with both of us in the championship game, that the Pac-12 will get more respect, and the East Coast bias will stop. It's not going to stop overnight, but I think that you need to respect the Pac-12 a lot more. You need to watch. It's very evident that a lot of writers don't even watch the Pac-12 because half the time the writing isn't accurate, or they're not familiar with people. So start watching the West Coast. Start paying attention to the Pac-12. It is the best conference in the country. And I think it needs to be respected more. And, evidence will be tomorrow. But, I think, we're excited. We do know Stanford. They know us. But at this time of year, anything can happen. It's not a 7-game series. It's one game. And we've made it this far. So we're going to give everything we got.
Thank you for that. Our next question will come from Troy Hutchinson, All Sports Tucson, and he will be followed by a question from Michelle Vopel of ESPN. Troy?
Hi, Coach. Troy Hutchison, All Sports Tucson. Obviously, the 2 teams know each other extremely well. What goes into beating a team like Stanford? What is the blueprint to trying to get the job done?
We have to play good basketball. I think the good thing for us is UConn plays Chin. Similar actions, similar tendencies, the similar foundation of their offense. So we've guarded that the whole Pac-12, and so we're guarding that again with Stanford. So we're familiar with it. It's not like we're playing, Princeton style, then we're going to play like a high-low offense. So it's, I think that's a benefit for us. To play Stanford, they are so talented. They are coached well. Like it's very difficult to coach against them. They're very scout specific. So if someone is not shooting the ball well, they're not going to be guarded. So there's certain players on our team that they don't guard. But I think that for us, we are much better defensively. We are much more aggressive. We are very confident in our defense. We are very confident in our pressing, which I think can disrupt Stanford. And we're shooting the ball better. I think when we played them a few months ago, they didn't guard us on the perimeter at all. They were going like 17th. We always say go first, second, third, or fourth. We would do an Iverson cut, and they were literally running in the key on top of the basket, and we were like running on the elbows. So I think now we're shooting the ball better. It's a little harder to do that, but I think they're still going to do that. That's how they are. If you're not shooting the good percentage, they're not guarded. But I always tell our team, you're open for a reason, so go be a screener or do something else. But it's going to be a fun game. It's exciting. This is a tremendous opportunity for us, but it's just another game. It means a little more, but at this point, we've gotten this far, and we believe. So you just got to go out and play. I'm not really worried about what it stands for, what it means. We just got to go play basketball. It's one game, and that's how we're going to approach it.
Thank you, Troy. Next up is Michelle Vopel. Michelle?
Yeah, Coach Michelle Vopel from ESPN.com. Can you talk about how your coaching style has evolved? I know you've only been a head coach for 5 years, but you had a very significant role as an assistant, and how you sort of manage. You look so calm on the sidelines, but you have a huge amount of passion, and we see that sometimes too. How you balance those two things in terms of motivating your team?
I don't put thought into it. I think I'm just me. I don't really know how to be anything else. If I was different, I'm just not like organic. And I think for me, I just do what I feel. So I think I'm not a yeller. And me as a player, when I played for coaches that were yellers, I just would look and they would like go in one ear and out the other. So I'm not a big yeller. I'm kind of more matter of fact, like, look, you're not doing this, you're doing that. And honest. And I think brutal honesty is the best thing. And I think being transparent. But I only know how to be one way. I don't know if that works for everybody. Probably some people need to be yelled at more, some don't. It's just not my style. But honesty, and sometimes I'll say, look, I think sometimes not yelling and being honest is worse than yelling. But I think that I am passionate. I am in the game. Like, I am in the moment and calm. I hope I look calm, but sometimes I was not calm. And especially at the end of the game when it was like a minute 20, only up by 5 points, they're making a run. I was getting a little bit nervous. But I just feel like your team feeds off of you. I think we're confident. I think the team I see is a reflection of me, but I was scrappy. I wasn't afraid. I was tough, physical. I was always undersized. I always had a chip on my shoulder. So I hope they get that from me because I take pride in that and I like that. But I don't know. I just kind of just am me. I don't try to be someone else. I don't know. I'm just myself. I don't really think of there is no strategy to it. There isn't no plan to be a certain way. It's just, I just do what I feel, I guess, which is good and bad because you saw at the end of the game, I honestly had a moment with my team and I thought it was like a more intimate huddle. And I said to my team something that I truly felt and I know they felt. And it just like appeared different on TV, but I'm not apologizing for it because I don't feel like I need to apologize. It's what I felt with my team at the moment. And I wouldn't take it back. We've gone to war together. We look around the room and we looked around that circle. We believe in each other. So I'm in those moments and that's how I am. So I don't apologize for doing that, but I'm just me and I have to just be me.
Thank you, Coach. Our next question will come from PJ Brown, and then we will follow that up with a question from Nancy Armour from USA Today. So PJ?
Hey, PJ.
Hi, Dia. I've covered you since you came to Arizona and watched your whole trajectory. You've always been the underdog. You've always been someone that the program's always been that people don't sort of know, right? They don't know what you're doing. They haven't been there. They haven't seen you. They haven't seen Ari. They haven't seen Sam, Kate, the whole team, and what you all are capable of doing and what you do every day. Does this moment that you're here, you sort of seem to relish in that. You've always been the underdog. You talk about that even as a player. How does that sort of Is this just sort of that living itself out?
I never really thought about it. I think for me, I'm hungry. That's a personality thing. I think that's an intrinsic thing. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of failure because I'm going to fail. I've been cut from the WNBA like 5 times. I've lost games. I've won 6 games my second year at Arizona. So it is what it is. It's my job to get better and build people around me. But I think that it's been a journey. When I got to Arizona, we were like 300 something RPI. We were not respected. We weren't considered. No one would have thought this program would turn around. But I think it takes players that have that same motivation, have that same hunger, fight. I always say dog mentality, and my players have it. Sam has it. You know, Kate has it. Trinity has it. Bendu has it. Ari has it. My team has it. So I think that when you find those people that play with that chip, that don't care, that aren't afraid, it's not always going to be perfect. We aren't going to win every game, but we fight. The things that you aren't going to question about Arizona, you aren't going to question. We may not be the best team on paper. We may not be, and we haven't been the whole tournament. But we're going to fight. We're going to make it tough for you. We're not afraid. We don't care who you are, what you did, what it says on paper. And we're going to do our job to the best of our ability. Now, if we win or lose, we walk away and we're okay. But I feel like when we do those things, everything else takes care of itself. And I think we did not have respect. And that was obvious coming into the tournament. I think the Pac-12 does not have respect. I think Stanford, us, Oregon, Oregon State, UCLA are not respected nationally because I think that people don't pay attention to West Coast or the Pac-12, and they need to. But I think that these players are fighters. These players are hungry. These players are not afraid, and that's what I want. I want to coach that type of team. I don't care about coaching a team of all-stars that, don't want to be physical. I'd rather coach players that are motivated, hungry. I always say I can't coach and motivate you. So I don't want to have to motivate you. I want to coach you. And that's fun. And when I'm on the sideline, I have fun. And this journey, Arizona, has been fun. Has it been hard? Yes. My second year, we lost so much, I was sometimes like, whoa, this is a tough job. Why'd I take it? But then it's like players like Ari, Sam, Kate, the people that chose Arizona and the people that I'm here with are the people that chose Arizona when we were bad. They came here hoping that we'd be good one day, but they didn't know. So they all came with that vision that I sold, but there was no evidence. So now I feel so good and satisfied winning with them because they didn't even know we would be here. We didn't know. We didn't know what the future held for us. And so it's more meaningful. It's more special. It is organic. It's not magic. It's what we've worked for and what we've thrived to be, and we've done it. So I couldn't be happier. And yes, we're playing on a big stage, the biggest stage of women's basketball, but we aren't the best team. But we are playing good basketball. We are hungry. We're fighters, and we have momentum. And so we've upset a lot of teams, and hopefully we'll continue to do that some more.
Thank you for that. We have about 8 minutes left, so we're going to try to get to as many questions as possible. Nancy Armour, USA Today.
Hey, Adia, congratulations again on last night. Nancy Armour with USA Today Sports. This tournament started out with questions or the uproar about the disparities, and it kind of seems like this has been the best response. The level of play and the quality of games and the compelling games that there have been, particularly in the last couple rounds. I'm wondering if you can speak to how satisfying that is and how important it was too to have this kind of tournament after it was pretty clear that the NCAA was disrespecting the game.
Yes, a very clear disparity, very clear inequality, and very obvious that things have to change, and that's a problem. But I did not want that to be the focus of the tournament because there is good basketball. So the focus of the tournament, to me, I'm glad it shifted. It shifted to quality games, to incredible teams, NC State, Texas A&M, all these great teams performing, all these elite athletes, Oregon Sedona Prince, playing great. I think so. I think it's shifted to the basketball, which I'm very, very happy for. But also the viewership. When there's good games, there's good products, there's exciting basketball, people watch. And I think that helps grow our game. But I think that there is more parity in women's basketball. We have good products. We have some good basketball you're watching. I mean, look at the Stanford South Carolina game. Came down to one shot. I mean, that's amazing basketball to watch, and it is amazing, talented women with incredible stories. If you look on every team, even in the Final Four, every player or players on the teams have great stories that are bigger than basketball, and that's what makes women's basketball unique. And I think watching players like Ari, Sam, Kate just thrive. And an example for what I love about women's basketball is yesterday, the Elite 90 Award, which was one of the biggest awards in college basketball for academics and athletics. My player, my captain, Sam Thomas, won it. So those are the things that need to be celebrated. Those are the stories that I want to be told, not our swag bag and stuff, because we can't do anything about that now, but it needs to change. But let's talk about the great things. Let's talk about these young women off the court. Let's talk about their stories, what they do, and what makes them so incredible. So, I'm happy it shifted, and I'm very happy that this is good basketball. No one wants to see a blowout in the Final Four or a championship game, so very happy that that's not happening.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Damian Alameda, KOLD News. Damian?
Hey, Adia. Damian Alameda, KOLD News 13, Tucson. Given your relationship with Tara, I'm curious, what is one of her more memorable pieces of advice to you?
She's given me a lot of advice. I think just one game at a time, and just play your game. I don't know. She's just given me a lot of advice. Not one particular thing stands out, but I did receive a text from her yesterday that said, "Great game, Adia." She just supports women's basketball and supports women, wants women's basketball to be successful, advocates for the Pac-12. So when I have a question or something to ask her about our team, or what's funny, that she actually told me a couple times. She cheers for me every time except for when they're playing us. It was except for when we're playing each other. So she cheers for me every other time. So stuff like that. She's really funny. She's also someone that's talked me into getting a Peloton bike. I don't use it as much as her, obviously, but I'm trying. That's the goal in the off season. But those things, I think she's just a great coach. But I think what's important is when you have people like her, Don Staley, Gino, that are going back and giving other people opportunities, and talking about our game and growing our game. That's what it's all about. So she's definitely one of those people that does that, along with these other top programs in the country.
Thank you. Our next question from Emma Bessarelli from Sports Illustrated. Emma?
Hi, Adia. Emma Baccelleri from Sports Illustrated. Going back to what you were saying about building this program, I know Kate Reese was the first McDonald's All-American that you were able to recruit. She's from Texas, big programs like Texas A&M were talking to her. What do you remember saying to her to get her to see this vision and be kind of that first really big name brand recruit to come aboard?
Well, Kate Reese is a very family-oriented person, is very close to her family. She wanted to go and be an impact, and wanted to be somewhere where she could play right away, she can leave her legacy, and she can go build something. And I think Arizona was a great fit for her. When she came on campus, she loved it. We had a really good relationship. Her sister was attending Arizona the year before her, and was going to be possibly one of our managers and just be in the program. So it was kind of easier for Kate to come the next year. But Kate wanted to be an impact, an immediate impact. And I think at some other programs, I don't know if she would have been able to do that. So for us, at the place we were, she would be able to do that and grow with us. And she's someone who's competitive. I don't know too many people more competitive than her, and wanted to come and leave her mark and do it and build it. And that's exactly what she's done. So she took a chance on us. She chose Arizona when we were awful. The year she came to probably like 5 or 6 games, we had won 6 games that year. We had multiple walk-ons on the team playing. It was kind of a step back in the program to take a step forward. So there was a lot of intentional decisions that I knew we were going to be bad, but I had to make it for the program to move forward because I was looking at the big picture. But Kate witnessed all that, and she still chose Arizona. So just happy that she decided to come here. We are not like every other team in the Final Four. They probably have like 8 McDonald's All-Americans on their roster. We have 1. And we have other kids that also shared that vision with Kate and wanted to build something. So everybody came to Arizona that's here right now. Sam, everybody, Ari, Kate, they all came when we weren't good, and they wanted to help us get there. And they believed in what I told them and believed that they could do it with me. And so that's why the love is just unconditional, and it's really big for these players. And I hope that shows, but it's real. It's real because they chose us when no one else did. They believed in this program. They believed in what we were going to possibly do. And so it is more special doing it with them. It truly is.
All right, we have time for just a few more questions. The next one will come from Elliot Almond from the Mercury News. Elliot.
Hi, thank you. Good morning. Adia, Elliot Almond, San Jose Mercury News. One player, you talked about how your team has gotten so much better, and that's just completely obvious watching you guys. One player in Stanford who's coming into her own is Haley Jones. And I'm wondering, your eyes just rolled.
Yeah, I know her too well.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, the way she's playing right now, what do you have to do? Because that's going to be different than the other two games that you've had with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, she's so good. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to see her many more years, so that's the bad thing. But she's great in transition with her size and her ability to handle the ball, and so good around the basket. What I love about her, she doesn't try to do anything else. And I think that's what Tara does so well with her team. If you are good at this, you do it, and you don't go to do something else. So Haley, she's not a three-point shooter, but she doesn't take threes, but she is so good at twos, so good in transitions. That's what she does, and it's hard to stop. So very, very hard in transition, very hard when she gets going downhill, extremely talented, 17 feet and in, and good passer, just a very talented player, and definitely a key to slowing down tomorrow. But yeah, do not look forward to playing against her multiple years. I mean, Stanford's a young team that's extremely talented, and just like we're playing better, so are they. So it's going to be a really good game.
All right, thank you. Our next question, Jim Vertuno, Associated Press. Jim?
Hi, Coach. Jim Vertuno at the Associated Press. You talked earlier about the qualities you want in your players, the tenacity, et cetera. That seems to be all wrapped up in a player who's 5'6". What drives Ari in terms of just the way she seems to attack every possession on both ends of the floor? What's the mentality there in her as a player?
She plays with a chip. She's hungry. She's not afraid of anything or anybody. She puts in work. You always fell back to your training, and she's worked hard this year, and she's resilient. Just all those things, and she wasn't afraid to take a chance because she's confident herself in her ability and knew that she'd help bring us to the next level, and we've done that. But I think that what makes her special is her mentality. And you can't teach speed or quickness. She has it. Can't teach height. Can't teach speed. She has the speed. She's, I don't know, a faster guard in the country, going downhill or court to court, she's just tough. The other thing I think what makes her special is that not a lot of players can play on both ends of the floor. So she is pressing for 37, 38 minutes a game, and she's our catalyst on offense. So I think that that's very rare. And I think that, things like overlooking her or saying she's too small, which she's been told all her life, saying she can't do this, saying she can't be that, it motivates her, and it just makes her, it fuels the fire. And I think that, she's been just kind of overlooked on certain things. She should not be a second-team McDonald's All-American. That's been obvious in the tournament, clearly obvious. She should be the Defensive Player of the Year, and she's not. And I think that's unfortunate because I don't know of a better full-court defensive player in the country that does what she does for 37 minutes a game. I ask a lot from her. But she's hungry. She's got a dog mentality. She's not afraid. She plays with a chip. She shows up on the big stage, and that's what great players do. And I think that all those things separate her. But I think it all starts with the mentality, because if you have a strong mentality, you're not afraid. And that's not something you can teach. And I see the difference in players. Like Kelsey Plum had that mentality, Diana Taurasi, Lauren Jackson, Sue Bird. It is this mental toughness that is not teachable. You can coach some things, but you can't coach that work ethic. You can't coach that intrinsic drive and that mental toughness and motivation to be great. That's not something you can teach. And as a coach, you can see that in players. So you know certain players are going to be successful in life because they have that motivation and they have that drive, and other people just don't have it. And they're just never end up being that great. But she has it.
Thank you, Coach. Chantel Jennings from The Athletic, you're up next. Thank you.
Hey, Adia, congrats
Hey.
on the win last night.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, when you were playing in the Pac-10, you guys played an 18 conference game schedule during the regular seasons. You faced every team twice. This year, you guys voted to up it to 22. So then you were, again, playing every team twice. I'm curious what that did for you as a player and how much prepared you guys then and built sort of the growth of Arizona when you were a player, and why you decided to vote for the expansion to 22 games this season.
Yes, as a player, that was so long ago. It's funny how you don't even pay attention to those things as a player. I don't even know how many conference games we played back then. But you kind of just are oblivious to a lot of that stuff as a player. But I think our conference was really good back then. But I think the difference with back then, like Stanford was the dominant team, and they were going to win it every year, pretty much. So to knock them off was really hard. I think this year as a coach, our league was so tough with so many good, talented teams. So a lot of people question why we chose to go 22 games. But from our conference standpoint and my standpoint is the main thing was safety. The main thing is we know our testing protocol in the Pac-12. We know what we're going to do, which is different than everybody in the country. We're going to test every day. We're going to kind of control our environment. So going to 22 just made sense. And then limiting our exposure with the non-conference, not knowing other people's testing protocols or what they adhere to, just put our players at less risk. Now, the downfall to that was it's going to be the gauntlet, and it's going to be extremely difficult playing 22 Pac-12 games. And I knew that would probably overall hurt, I think, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 team in our conference, and could hurt our numbers going to the NCAA tournament. But I think the safety was a big thing. And just not afraid of the competition, I think, in the end. I felt like our team was good. So I thought that playing in these tough games would prepare us. And we actually didn't end up playing all of our games. I think we ended up playing 18 or 17. And Stanford, I think, is the only one that played their 21 or 22 possibly. I think they played 21 games. But it's what we chose because of the safety of our student athletes. And that was what it was all about. It was first them, then everything else. I mean, that's what, we have to keep our focus on. And but if you look at I can tell you one thing. It was very hard coaching during the year, and me looking as a coach and our players, looking at like the SEC and seeing that they have a couple thousand fans, and seeing it was a lot more loose, and we're able to do a lot more. Sometimes that was hard at times, but then I look back at our team and even Stanford, like none of our players ever caught COVID. Not one player our whole year caught COVID. So I think that just kind of spoke to how we were handling it and how the maturity of our team, and not that you can't control all the time catching it, but it was just, we were very safe. And so big picture, I think it was worth it. Was it tough? Yes. But I think that, we were all up for the challenge and wanted our players to be safe.
Coach, thank you so much for answering all these questions. Sorry we couldn't get to them all. We've gone over actually a little bit of your time, but we're going to invite your two players up next to speak to the media. Congratulations again. Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Folks, I see there's a lot of folks with the raised hand function. We will get to everyone's questions as best we can over the next few minutes. Thank you very much. And we are joined by senior guard Arie McDonald. Congratulations, Arie, for advancing to the championship game. We'll get going right away with questions. The first question for you will come from Cheryl Coward, Women's Hoop Feed. Cheryl?
Cheryl Coward, Hoop Feed. Hi, Arie. You have a lot of national attention on you right now, even with the lack of respect that the Pac-12 and Arizona has received. And Adia mentioned some of the unsung heroes of your team. What can you tell us about them, what they bring to your team from your perspective as a team leader, Sam, Kate, Bendu, and Trinity?
Yeah, I think that Sam is one of the most underrated defenders in the country. People just want to give me credit, but I mean, Sam does the things that doesn't even show up on the stat sheet. She's everywhere, whether that's blocks, steals, locking down her person, and then Kate. She's gotten better each year. She's improved. She's gotten stronger. Her defense has improved each year, and she has that bank shot. I mean, that's her go-to, and she knocks it down. We have Trinity, the enforcer. She's strong, and she's a great addition to our team this year. Her defense has grown tremendously over the season, and she's really good and has a nice touch around the basket. And we have Bendu. We've added her. She's another great addition to the team. Another defensive person and another driver. And so, I mean, I'm just thankful, how far we come, and I'm blessed to play with these ladies.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Greg Hansen. Greg? Greg, please unmute yourself. All right, Greg's not able to do that right now, so we'll move on. The next question, Doug Feinberg, Associated Press. Doug?
Hey, Ari, congrats on making it this far and playing for one more day.
Thank you.
I'm curious, when you first transferred in here and decided to stick around, was this what you were expecting, to get to a national championship game and have a chance to put Arizona, which you've already done someplace they've never been before?
Yes, coming in, I knew that this is the ultimate goal I wanted to achieve, and along with my teammates and my coaches. I mean, this is what we talked about, and to see it finally coming full circle and it's happening, it's crazy.
Our next question will come from Michelle Vopel, ESPN.com. Michelle?
Yeah, Ari, you've talked about, we sort of asked you about your relationship with Adia, but can you talk about just the sort of person she is, the things as you guys see that she balances with a new baby, and the way that both her calmness and her passion both, motivate and inspire you guys?
Yeah, Coach Barnes is a tough cookie. I don't know how she's doing the things she's doing with being a mother, being a coach, and just being a family woman. I don't know how she does it, but I mean, she finds the time, and she has the right schedule going on. She has the right people around her helping her, and I mean, to see what she's doing, and just on this platform, she's creating opportunities for mothers and Black women all around the country. It's very inspiring, and she's an amazing person to be around, and I'm so happy that she's been a part of my journey.
Thank you. The next question for Javier Morales, allsportstucson.com. Javier?
Yes, Ari, Javier Morales, All Sports Tucson. I was just curious, Damon Stoudemire, and you had a little tweet going with each other. He mentioned that your game does remind him of himself. What's your thoughts about something like that?
It was crazy. I mean, it's surreal when you just see Arizona legends, comment on your stuff. I'm like, wow, this man, I see him every day on the wall at practice, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. But I mean, it's a blessing to the comparison been going on since I've been here. And for me to finally see the reels, I'm like, okay, I see it. And I mean, this is definitely a compliment.
Our next two questions will come first from Michelle Smith, Pac12.com, and she will be followed by Nancy Armour, USA Today. Michelle?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Michelle Smith, Pac12.com. Let's talk about the game for a moment. Obviously, Stanford's a familiar opponent. Can you kind of just walk through the 2 or 3 things that you guys absolutely have to do to win this game, and the 2 or 3 things you absolutely cannot do against Stanford?
A couple things that we have to do to win would be shooting, knocking down shots. I mean, we've been shooting great in the tournament so far. And the second thing is rebounding. And something that we can't do, I would say, is not communicate early, loud, and often to each other, whether that's offense or defense. And another thing, we have to be stagnant on offense.
Thank you. We'll now turn to Nancy Armour. Nancy?
Hey, Ari, Nancy Armour from USA Today Sports. How gratifying is it and satisfying and good for the game is it that the tournament has had so many really compelling games, great quality of play, especially after the tournament started with, the people clearly not appreciating the level of the women's game?
It's like you said, it's definitely been gratifying. I mean, it's not a usual year. I mean, you've seen so many things happen in this tournament so far, like that people didn't even expect. And just, throughout everything since we've been here, I mean, just to see how everyone on every team was still like competitive, focused, and just playing at a high level. I mean, it was amazing. And just hats off to every team that made the tournament. I know it's been a crazy year, but I mean, they came out and competed and played with their heart. And so it's just crazy.
We have time for 2 more questions for Ari. The first one will come from Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio, and then be followed by PJ Brown, Arizona Daily Star. Rich?
Ari, congratulations. Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290. We've talked about the lack of respect Arizona's gotten, but in Tucson, you've got quite a bit. Have you got a chance to see any of the videos? The softball team last night was watching your game in the outfield and cheering. Baseball was at ASU. They were watching. The football team has been watching. Have you heard back from all the student athletes in Arizona that are pulling from you?
Yes, I did. I've seen their stories. They've been Snapchatting me, talking to me on other social media platforms, and the support is amazing. Like, we feel the love all the way in San Antonio, and it's much appreciated. We need this, and we're gonna keep going strong for you guys.
All right, and now it's question from PJ Brown. PJ, Arizona Star.
Hi, Ari. I know that you had, you had said a few weeks ago that, your goal was to play Stanford in that Pac-12 tournament title game, and you didn't get to do that. And now you're standing here at this moment, getting your shot at Stanford again. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, we came up short in the Pac-12, but I mean, I'll take this any day over the Pac-12. I mean, my teammates and I know it's at stake. I mean, I love this matchup, and like we said, the Pac-12 is the best conference in the country, and I'm just so excited we get to play against the #1 team in the Pac-12 for the championship.
Ari, we want to thank you again for your time this morning. Congratulations. Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we will conclude our press conference with the University of Arizona with senior forward Sam Thomas, who will be joining us momentarily. Thank you again for everyone who has the raised hand function. We'll get to your questions as quickly as we can. Hello, Sam, welcome and thank you and congratulations again. We'll get right to some questions. The first one will be from Pepper Pursley, The Next Hoops. Pepper?
Hi, Sam. Pepper Presley with The Next. Congrats on making it to the championship game. Your journey at Arizona is inspiring. You were captain from your freshman year until now. Just what does it mean to you that Arizona has made it to the championship game after only having 6 wins in your first year?
It means a lot just to know that, trusting in Adia, knowing that we were rebuilding. After those 6 wins my freshman year, I didn't think we would be able to rebuild this fast 4 years later in a national championship game. But I'm definitely excited. I'm proud of my teammates, and I think we deserve to be here.
Thank you for that. The next question will come from Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Lindsay?
Hey, Sam. Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Congrats on the win and on plan for the title. You do a lot for the team that is unsung, maybe. You do a lot of the dirty work. You take pride in defense, and that's kind of counter narrative to what our society loves. And I just wondered why and when did you decide to buy into those things?
Growing up, my dad has always just taught me defense. He's kind of old school. He always says defense wins championships. So I've just been instilled my whole life just to play defense. So I think now coming into the college level, I'm realizing how important defense is. And with playing at Arizona, our defense really ignites our offense. So I think that just really gets the team going. And then having everyone around me being able to be just as defensive mindset as I am, I think that's what has carried us so far.
Thank you for that. Next question comes from Matt Roberts, and then will be followed with a question from Kareem Copeland. First, Matt Roberts.
Hey, Sam. Congratulations on making the championship game. Matt Roberts, Next Star Broadcasting. I just wonder, this year, is it more impressive for you all to overcome all the things that you did and make it to this championship game, given all the protocols and everything you had to overcome? And can you just reflect on that journey a little bit that you guys have traveled to get here?
Yeah, in my opinion, this probably means more than, I mean, if I could say any other national championship, but I've never been in one. But I think it does mean a lot. People don't see the behind the scenes. Our trainers, doctors, testing early in the morning because we have to get those results before practice. Just being here in a bubble for longer than 2 weeks now. I mean, it's probably the toughest season ever, but just to be able to know that we're here now in the national championship, I mean, everything is paying off. And I'll test a year from now for another 2 years, another 5 years if I can keep coming to national championships.
Our next question from Washington Post, Kareem Copeland. Kareem?
Hey, Sam, congratulations. And Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. Quickie, a lot of the talk this morning has kind of been about respect and, you know, the lack of respect for the Pac-12 and a lack of respect for you guys. I'm curious, what's it been like over these last, couple of weeks as you guys keep moving on to each round to get more love and see people kind of blowing up on social media and all the kind of coming. What's that like for you guys, coming from kind of being underdogs to where you are now and all the time?
Yeah, it means a lot. I think coming into this tournament, I mean, we believed in ourselves, our Tucson community believed in us, but then after going round by round, winning more, getting more love, and then thinking that we finally got some respect, and obviously the video and stuff, the other stuff that happened, it kind of was like a dagger because I thought being in the Final Four, we proved ourselves, being the 3 seed. So I think now we're in it for ourselves. We're doing this for ourselves. If people want to support us, we love it. We love the support. If people want to hate us, I mean, we're in the national championship, so what more can you say? So I think that just proves a lot, being a 3 seed and in the Pac-12, competing against another Pac-12 school. I mean, I think the Pac-12 really deserves the respect now.
All right, our final question will come from Troy Hutchinson, All Sports Tucson. Troy.
Hi, Sam. I don't know if, again, Troy Hutchison, All Sports Tucson. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet, but in the Daily Star today, David Fitzsimmons, the local cartoonist, drew a photo of a girl asking one other girl if she wanted to go watch Wonder Woman. And she said, nope, I wanted to go watch 14 Wonder Women beat UConn today. So could you just talk about being on the stage and potentially inspiring a new wave of not only U of A women's basketball fans, but players as well?
Yeah, that means a lot. I'm going to have to go check that after this. But, I mean, just knowing Arizona has never had a national championship on the women's side, and now here we are fighting for one. I mean, it means a lot. There's so many people reaching out to all of us on social media. We have the whole Arizona community behind us. We have some ASU fans supporting us. A lot of professional teams in Arizona are supporting us. So I think everyone just wants to see us get a win. And just knowing that win or lose, we've made an effect in someone's life, it means a lot.
Okay, we do have time for 2 more questions, so we'll go to Arizona Daily Star's PJ Brown for the next one.
Hi, Sam. I won't ask you about Proxy, but I'm thinking about her. Actually, my question's about, after you won last night and you turned around and you guys looked at your crowd, a sea of red fans sitting there like a who's who of Arizona women's basketball past, as well as basketball with the likes of Jason Terry there. What did that moment mean to you that they all just got in a car, hopped on a plane, and came out for you?
It means a lot. I was seeing all over social media people posting we're here, and traveling, carpooling with a lot of people just trying to make this game. So it definitely means a lot that people are trying their best to come see us, and then just looking out after the game, seeing all the red, it meant a lot. I mean, during the game, I heard at least 5 times the U of A chant. So just knowing that the whole community is behind us, it really means a lot.
Thank you for that question. And our final question from Nancy Armour, USA Today. Nancy?
Hey, Sam. Can you talk about the importance or express the importance of having a tournament that is unfolded like this, really compelling games, really high quality of play, and contrast that to how it started with the very much the dismissal of the women's game. And it kind of seems like you all have turned that conversation on its head.
Yeah, I think we've done a great job as a women's basketball community, just all coming together and focusing on the main issue that we all need to have some respect, and people need to start watching women's basketball because, as you can see from the previous games and all the games before, I mean, it's entertaining. We're not dunking the ball like the men's team, but we're having good quality basketball. You're seeing all-stars, future WNBA stars playing, so I think that was a big movement, and then now we're getting more views, more respect. I think they said like the UConn-Baylor game had like the most views for that game or something like that. So, I mean, it's just nice to now finally be here and we're getting some more respect. We're seeing change, so hopefully that progresses into the future as well.
Sam, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck tomorrow in the championship game.
Thank you.